This is probably the strongest SSF build I've ever played, and that's saying a lot after playing Necropolis Detonate Dead to 100. This build is able to run all map mods just fine, tank most uber boss abilities within reason, and it's somehow incredibly cheap for all the amount of power it puts out. This video I'll be going over the final version of the build where I'm going to be leaving it because I just lost interest in the league and I wanted to put out an update for any of you who want to see what I've changed. If you haven't seen the previous video, go watch that to get a general overview of the build. I'm not going to be going over the major concepts of the build here, just a few changes I've made and a couple of the questions I've received over the last couple days. First big notable change I've made is that I've equipped March of the Legion in my boots. Divine Blessing in combination with Whispers of Infinity allows for an extremely cheap extra aura, and the increased aura effect and levels on Malevolence adds a huge chunk of extra damage for free. This allows me to run an additional permanent aura, which I've chosen to run Haste for the quality of life it provides. You could also instead run Grace yourself so that you aren't reliant on your mercenary, who can be very unreliable and make you die a couple times. I've also dropped the cast when damage taken Immortal Call setup in favor of just running Frost Shield for on-demand tankiness. This way, Immortal Call isn't eating up the endurance charges I'm generating from Enduring Composure. Finally, I've dropped the massive Thread of Hope down here in favor of picking up this Poison Wheel for the 20% faster poison damage mastery. Just makes a higher percentage of my overall damage be from my actual poisons instead of the Caustic Ground. This just smooths out my gameplay while I'm running extremely scary maps like Risk Abyss. For a few notes on some of the comments I've received about the build, just to clear things up, no, you don't need both a dagger and a claw. The only reason I have this setup is because I only got one claw in all of the blueprints I ran, and I was too lazy to keep running Heist. The dagger I rolled is also extremely powerful, and I just never crafted anything with more flat chaos damage to replace it. To color the body armor, you're going to want to use the crafting bench to set your body to 3 sockets. Craft these sockets as green on the bench, and then go up and down 1 socket at a time repeatedly to fill out all of the off colors, up to 5 sockets. Once you're at 5 and have all your off colors, just use the bench to craft the 6th socket, which is going to be heavily in your favor to hit blue. If you're unlucky and hit another off color here, you can just go back down to 5 and up to 6 again. Yeah, this does cost a lot of jeweler's orbs. You can use a necrotic armor instead to make it a lot easier to get the right colors, but I significantly prefer the higher energy shield from Twilight Regalia for Pathfinder. You can absolutely play a similar setup to this as Trickster. I have an extremely shabby POB of Trickster in the description below. There are a couple problems I have with this variation though. Trickster is entirely reliant on the poison prolif from binos, which makes this setup pretty much impossible to run in SSF. This also makes you reliant on accuracy capping, which means you're more likely to want to lean into perfect agony and crit multi-scaling instead of just chaos and chaos dot multi. I don't prefer this because it just adds extra layers to our scaling that require a lot more effort to solve. There are some benefits to Trickster though. Notably, Trickster has extremely powerful ascendancy nodes in Spellbreaker, which just makes you not reliant at all on Zealot's Oath regen to feel healthy compared to Pathfinder, and one step ahead, which makes you have a lot better time doing mods like Drowning Orbs or running Delirium. Trickster also gives you access to the Toxic Delivery Forbidden Flesh and Flame notable from Assassin, which is just straight up 25% more damage, and it's a lot more powerful than any of the notables Pathfinder has access to.